Thank you so much for inviting me to this session today on China's role in the Arctic area. I'll talk a little bit about our experience with working with a Chinese company, and then also a little bit about what lessons we've learned as we have done that. So, we've been living in times where a lot of stuff is happening all the time, driven by technology. And our company felt back in 2015 that we were really at a crossroad. We felt we had been overtaken by technology, and we felt we had been overtaken by competition as well. And as we were looking at our whole infrastructure, we felt that everything is extremely connected, and everything is more and more connected as we look into the future. And therefore, we needed to do something. We needed to either live with the issues and never deliver on the promises that we have to our customers and our society, or invest millions of euros into a very large project. Basically, we needed to blossom, is what we felt. So we put out a competitive bid, and we had these companies here. So we had two Chinese companies, ZTE and Huawei, and we had a Swedish company, Ericsson, and we had a US/French company, Alcatel-Lucent. Huawei really impressed us. They came back with an offer which was absolutely outstanding. So what we had been asking all the companies was, we wanted to have a turnkey project, so we literally wanted to transform our infrastructure totally, sort of like changing the airplane when you're in the air. And we also wanted to have pricing, both in terms of project and also operations, that was below benchmark. And we wanted the whole thing to be done in less than a year. There's obviously a big difference between China and the Faroe Islands. The Great Wall of China and the wall in Kyrkjebø. And this is what we felt as we were running the project. There was a cultural difference between us. And in the early stages of the project, we had a lot of issues, misunderstandings, and it soon became apparent that if this can change, just change the next one. We really had to understand when you say no, what does that really mean? And there are many variations of a no. Even a yes could be a no. We'll try and see. I need to conduct some more research and so on. I am sure this same slide exists the opposite way. And there are probably lots of maybes, and let's see tomorrow if we can make that work and so on. So what we did was actually having cultural workshops. So we had workshops with the Chinese team learning about Faroese culture. And we had workshops where the Faroese team was learning about Chinese culture. And then we also had joint workshops where we really could discuss, when you say yes, yes, do you really mean yes, or do you mean no? If you mean no, please just say no. So we had a very aggressive project execution timeline. So we signed the contract in June of 2015. And as I said, we wanted to be done by June of 2016. So by November, we had literally changed the airplane. And then from December and onwards, we were moving the passengers from the other airplane over to the new one, as both were still flying. We executed the project during fall and during winter. And most of the heavy lifting was actually done at that time. So we had to use all kinds of vehicles to get to the mountaintops. We were also up in the air testing our network. So our network is actually going all the way out to 120 kilometers out to sea, and also 1 to 2 kilometers up in the air. So we were doing tests on the search and rescue capabilities. And then, obviously, when you were done for the day, it was nice to put down your vehicle and go for a cup of coffee in the shed there. So our mobile network is actually covering the whole of Faroe Islands. So it doesn't really matter if you are on a mountaintop hiking somewhere, or if you are listening to your favorite band at a concert, or if you are at a football stadium watching your favorite team. And actually, this solution was another one that we did with Huawei, and this was the first solution in the Scandinavian countries, probably in the Arctic area, where you can actually be in the stadium, watch a football match, and stream the match at the same time, and everyone can do that. So there's a lot of capacity at the football stadium. As I said, you can be out to sea and still be fully connected. You can be 120 kilometers out and be with your family on the mobile device. So our purpose is really to connect a nation. And here is at the National Day, so we probably have some 10 to 15,000 people at midnight singing and dancing, and also streaming that on Facebook. And all of that is obviously possible on the mobile network. So this was sort of job well done. So we delivered on time, on scope, on budget. And the network was handed over exactly a year after we started the project. Then we were looking to the future, and we signed another agreement with Huawei. This was a more strategic agreement in nature, where we were looking at pushing the boundaries of technology. And we have since been working on implementing 4.5G. So throughout our network, we have 4.5G capability, and that is the next step after 4G and the step before 5G. And we are also working on a project in Orkney, where it's a pilot project. It's rural first, sponsored by the British government. And there we're working with companies like Cisco and actually also BBC and others. And that'll be a very exciting project, and it starts next week, I believe. So here's where we're trying to go. On the mobile device, we want to have gigaspeed. And this is also what is being possible as we work with Huawei. So one of the things that we've done with Huawei is, as we were testing the phones on this particular network in our lab, we realized that we were not getting the speeds that had been promised. So we were talking to Huawei, and I was challenging them, and I said, your phone, in the specification, it says that you're supposed to get gigaspeed. I'm not getting gigaspeed. What are we doing? And what they then did was they actually built the Faroe Islands mobile network into their operating system. And this can only be done when you have a strategic relationship with a company. Another thing that we're doing with Huawei is we are actually building an infrastructure for Internet of Things. There will be many, many things connected to the Internet in the future, and actually billions of things in 2020. We believe in Faroe Islands, thousands and even hundreds of thousands of things will be connected to the Internet, and we are building that infrastructure so that you can actually do that anywhere in the Faroe Islands. Another thing, and this was yet another contract that we signed with Huawei, so we feel we are a little bit behind compared to maybe our neighboring countries in terms of broadband. Even though we have 100% coverage, 90% of all households in the Faroe Islands can have 50 megabits per second or more, which is actually above the global average, which is 45. But we really want to deliver on our world-class everything vision, and therefore we have initiated a fiber to the home project, again with Huawei. And what we're implementing in this project is 10 giga speed. So this is extraordinary speeds that we can't even imagine. And that's where we're going with this project. It has a 5-year planning horizon as of now, costing us a lot of millions, but we believe this is necessary in the Faroe Islands. So, what have we learned from all of this? Actually, we've seen that the cultures on the surface might appear to be very different, but they're not. And I think both Faroese and Chinese are hardworking people. We are flexible. We are dedicated. We're dedicated to work and to family, and we like to have fun in the process. Being successful also requires respect on both sides. And one of the things that we've really tried to do as we've been working with Huawei is we have partnered with them. Instead of treating them as a vendor, which you maybe lock up in the basement, we've actually invited them to everything that we do to become equal partners with us in everything we do in our offices. Another thing that we've learned is that Chinese companies are very resourceful. So if you are behind schedule, a Chinese company will throw in more resources. And sometimes that is difficult because we don't have unlimited resources. But they are capable of doing that, which is absolutely great as well. And lastly, they will also provide you access to the very top of their organization. And that's something that we've truly experienced. We've been connected to the very top of Huawei. And also, as you saw, the Faroe Islands mobile network was actually built into Huawei's operating system. And it's not every day that you get that far with a large company like Huawei or equivalent. So I think my time's up. So I think that concludes the session. Thank you.